Attorney General Pam Bondi on her way involuntarily to the private sector. So what do the numbers tell us about what went wrong for her? CNN chief data analyst Harry Enten is here. Good morning to you, sir. How popular was Pam Bondi, before yesterday, before she got fired?
Yeah, the American people are saying, thank God Pam Bondi is gone. She wore on them like an in-law who stayed too late past Christmas vacation. I mean, just take a look here. Net popularity of Pam Bondi. In January 2025, you know what? She was actually on the positive side of the ledger. Look at this, at +1 points. But look at this. Down she goes. The more people got to know Pam Bondi, the less they liked her. Her net popularity rating by the end, -19 points, a 20-point shift in the wrong direction. Of course, one of the key reasons being why was the Epstein case, which, of course, she was helping in charge of that particular in the Trump administration. And the American people, simply put, did not like Pam Bondi.
How does this compare to other people who've had the job?
Yeah, okay. So, President Trump sees this. He sees, oh, my God, she's wearing a my administration. And more than that, he might recall that there was actually a fairly popular attorney general at this point in administration. Look at this. Net popularities of attorneys general about this time in the presidency. Look, Joe Biden's Merrick Garland was actually on the plus side of ledger at +6 points. Look at this. Pam Bondi, far more unpopular here at -19 points at this point. So we're talking about Merrick Garland being more than 25 points more popular in the net popularity rating. And that's the reason why I had to put this former in parentheses right here, because Pam Bondi is bye-bye Bondi.
She's still serving for a little while longer. She's a fired, yet she has, the honor of getting to keep the job for a few more days until she loses her access to the building. You talked about Epstein. How does that issue rank among others?
Yeah, how does it rank? The idea is, okay, we'll get rid of Pam Bondi, and maybe that would somehow make you more popular, Donald Trump, in the Epstein case. Look, the Epstein case is going to continue to be a big problem for Donald Trump, because just take a look here. Take a look at Trump's net approval rating, immigration, foreign policy, the economy, trade and tariffs, the Epstein case. Look at this. That is by far the worst issue for Donald Trump of the major issues, at -40 points. -40 points. Worse than immigration, worse than foreign policy, worse than the economy, worse than trade and tariffs. So the bottom line is this. The Epstein case is not going away if you're Donald Trump, even if Pam Bondi is going away. The Epstein case is going to continue to weigh on the president of the United States.
But you don't want to be the face of that issue in the administration. Okay, what are the markets saying about who might be next as Attorney General?
Okay, so who might be next for Attorney General? Let's take a look at the Couch prediction market. Take a look here. Chance to be Trump's next Attorney General. Lee Zeldin is the favorite at this point. Of course, Lee Zeldin from the great state of New York, the great island of Long, 60% chance. Todd Blanchard, a 26% chance. So at this point, Zeldin is in the driver's seat, but I'm not quite sure it's a job you really want.
It'll be interesting to see how much jockeying there is for the job in the next few months. Harry Enten, thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.
She faced a subpoena from the House Oversight Committee and was set to appear before lawmakers for a deposition about the Epstein files in 2 weeks. The person who had led that subpoena push, joining us now, Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina. Thank you for being here. Now, a committee spokesperson, Congresswoman, had told CNN last night that the plan after the news was that the chairman was going to speak with members about the status of the deposition subpoena and confer on next steps. Have you talked to the chairman yet about those next steps?
I have not yet, but I made my point very clear yesterday when I issued the subpoena that was voted on by the Oversight Committee a number of weeks ago. We did it by name and not by the title of the Attorney General. So she's still compelled and required by law to come before the Oversight Committee. And at this juncture, I'm not backing away from that or backing down from that. I do believe the handling of the Epstein files was done in a very poor manner by her and her office. And there are still questions that she has answers to that are very serious and has information, I believe, that'll be important to the committee. So I'm moving forward. If I could still have the majority of support from the committee, it won't be just me. I have to have the support of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to move forward if the chairman wants to try to quash it.
So there is a step that might need to be taken. If the chairman wants to go a different direction than what has already happened, then you will need support from your Republican colleagues and Democratic colleagues to try to make sure she comes in?
Yes, and that'll be, I'm assuming if that's the overture right now, that I'll have a little bit of work to do behind the scenes to make sure that I have any votes if it's going to come up for a vote or how we move forward. I'm pushing to have her. She's made a lot of statements about the files. I have questions about those statements. I have questions about why not all of the files have been released. I think there's a messaging issue as well, and the lack of communication. And quite frankly, the DOJ has mocked members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats alike. I'm concerned about Todd Blanche because, he's mocked and gone after members of Congress who have had questions about the Epstein files. And I think it's very important that the next Attorney General, that we show that there is not a two-tiered system of justice, that if you're rich and powerful and politically connected, regardless if you broke the law, our country's going to go after you, that you will be arrested, you will be investigated, there will be a trial. That's really important to me to restore trust in the institution.
You say that there's no question that says that this is the subpoena stands for Pam Bondi. Do you have any inkling or suggestion that if it stands, she will fight it at this point?
I don't at this point. I mean, the rumor was she didn't want to come in for it previous to this, which is why she did the briefing pretty much immediately. And we were only given 24 hours notice for that briefing. I'm sticking to my guns, as I always do, as I always have, because for me, this is not political. This is personal. I have met with these victims. I have been through many of the files at the DOJ. And, I have many questions that I feel she can answer, and others at the DOJ. And there are folks that we're going to be bringing in to depose that they're going to be very important. I put out names. I know Chairman Comer has put out a list of people that are going to be coming in. This isn't going away. And I applaud members of Congress on both sides of the aisle that are with me and are pushing back to make sure that the American people get the truth.
Do you think that her being fired helps your effort or hurts it in terms of getting the truth out about the Epstein files, in your view?
I don't think it really matters because the subpoena was for her, not her position. So she is still compelled legally to come before the Oversight Committee in Congress. So I don't think it really plays one way or the other because the subpoena still stands.
Are you glad that she got fired?
I am actually, I've communicated with the president on potential names of replacements. I hope that it'll be someone who will ensure that people are investigated, that they are indicted, that they're arrested, that there are trials, regardless of the politics. There are investigations, is my understanding, for people that's not politically connected, that they're going after the right and the left for those who are criminals potentially and done potential criminal wrongdoing. And I think it's really important that the DOJ communicate that with the American people, but also the American people want to know that there's not a two-tiered system of justice. Like if you broke the law and you're rich and powerful, you go to jail, but no one's seeing that right now. They've not seen that in years, maybe decades. And then they see a broken and corrupt justice system at the state level or at the federal level. I mean, we've seen cases where murderers walk free or they're let out. I mean, I spend half my time as a leading candidate for governor in South Carolina sitting in court hearings, making sure that I understand what judges are doing and how victims are really traumatized in a broken court system, whether it's rape victims, families of murder victims, domestic violence victims. I mean, the whole system is corrupt and broken from the top on down.
Also noteworthy, you say you have been communicating with the president on a potential names for who will be the next attorney general that he will be nominating.